Welcome to the WindowWise installation instruction video. Installation is as important to proper performance of a window as is the design and manufacturing of the window itself. All the advanced design and construction techniques can be nullified if the window is improperly installed. Did you know that over 80% of window service problems are the result of improper installation? Following the WindowWise installation procedures is one way of eliminating costly installation errors. It is important to note that care must be taken during the handling and storage of windows. To protect them from breakage, you should store them standing upright with a slight lean on a flat surface and under cover. They should have enough space between them to allow air movement. Do not store them outside or in direct sunlight because heat buildup can permanently distort some parts of the window. When handling windows, they should be lifted by the side jamb and sill, never by the head only, with the frame fully supported during moving and installation. Of course, windows should never be dropped. A retrofit installation involves removing the old window sash carefully from the frame and installing the new window into that existing frame. The first step in a successful installation starts well before the day you do the installation. It starts with ordering the right product from the manufacturer. To do this, you need to know the inside dimensions of the existing window frame. First, ensure it is square by measuring diagonally from corner to corner. Do the measurement in both directions. If the two dimensions are equal, the opening is square. If it isn't square, the size of the new window will need to be adjusted accordingly. Check that the sill is level and free from any unusual distortions, and repair if necessary. Next, measure horizontally at the top, middle, and bottom. The smallest measurement will be the opening's width. To get the height, measure vertically at the left side, the center, and the right side. The smallest of the three measurements will be the height of the opening. To ensure there is an adequate space between the replacement window and the existing opening, subtract a minimum of 1/2 inch from your width and height measurements. This will allow a 1/4 inch gap on all sides for shim placement, insulation, and thermal expansion. If your existing window has a wood stool, the bottom of the new window should only be 1 inch or less below the top of the stool. In this situation, measure from the top of the opening to 1 inch below the top of the stool and deduct 1/2 inch for shimming and foaming. The WindowWise procedure for installing retrofit replacement windows begins when you pick up the windows. You need to ensure that you have the right number and type of windows specified on the work order. Check that all the accessories are included, particularly couplers. When you arrive, put down drop cloths over the entire work area. Check the existing window opening for width and height. The new window should be 1/2 inch smaller on both measurements to allow 1/4 inch space on all four sides. This space is needed for shimming and foaming. Check to make sure each window is the right type, style, and color. Pay particular attention to configuration or breakdown on windows like picture windows. Add up the individual window widths or heights to make sure the window will have the right dimensions when assembled. You should inspect all your new windows for damage before beginning the installation. Never install a damaged window unless it can be serviced on site. Carefully remove all sash, stops, and hardware from the existing frame. Then, carefully remove all tracks without damaging or marking the interior casing or wall. Now, cut out any mullions specified on the work order and clean the windowsill area, checking for any rotten sections in the frame, and make repairs if necessary. If you're going to couple windows together, clean and caulk the joining surfaces first. Then, using a hard rubber mallet, snap the couplers into the grooves both inside and out. Now, inspect your work to be sure they are joined evenly. Before installing the new window, place 2 nails or screws on each side of the existing window frame to act as temporary stops for securing the window to the opening. Use shims at least every 16 inches along the sill. Shimming under the window is extremely important so the window can be properly leveled and foamed underneath. Place the window in the opening and level it horizontally. Check the shimming diagrams available from the CD menu to see shim placement for the type of window you are installing. When the window is horizontally leveled, square the window vertically by double shimming at 2 to 3 points along each side. Vertically, the shims should be 24 inches apart. Do not make your shims too tight or they may bow the frame. Now check the operation of the window by making sure the sash is seating evenly along all sides. Check the locking mechanism and make adjustments until everything works well and looks even. Before screwing the window into place, check it for plumb. For casement windows, plumb is especially important in order for them to close evenly and catch the lock. Now begin fastening the window into place by installing 1 screw on each side. Always place screws through a shim and never over-tighten any of the screws. Screws are usually number 8 by 2.5 inch long, round head, steel anodized screws. Now drive a screw at every shim point along the sides. Most windows provide a removable strip that will cover any screw heads and gives a neat appearance. When you are finished, reinstall the strip. If the frame must be drilled, countersink the screw head and cover with a cap. Do not put any screws in the sill area. Wide windows over 64 inches may require fastening through the sill. If you have to screw through the sill, be sure to permanently seal it before covering it with a cap. Now check the operation and locking mechanisms again and make adjustments if necessary. When you are satisfied, cut off the shims slightly less than flush on the interior side of the window. From the interior, foam between the window and the existing frame using a low-expanding polyurethane foam. Run the bead about 1 inch deep into the cavity. Only use a small amount of foam in short, controlled applications. Don't forget, it's going to expand. Using too much foam will distort the window and hamper its operation. Using too little foam leaves air holes. Lock the window and leave the foam to dry. Foam is cured by the moisture in the air, so too much foam means it will not set properly on the inside. It is better to apply 1 bead of foam, let it set, then come back and apply another bead if needed. When it is dry, cut off any extra foam and caulk the shims before installing the trim. Now, on the exterior side, you can cut off the shims slightly less than flush and foam around the exterior perimeter of the window, again not using too much. It is not necessary to fill the entire cavity with foam. Just make sure at least 1 pass inside and out is 1 inch deep. Once it is dry, cut off any excess foam that sticks past the window surface. Now test the operation of the window again, making sure the sash moves easily. Look carefully to make sure the track has not been distorted by the foam expansion. Now apply caulking to the shim locations and begin capping. When you cap the sill, be sure it has enough slope for water to run off. Make sure the flat stock goes inside the accessory groove. When you are caulking, be sure the flashing is sealed to the window. Seal everywhere except under the sill. Leave this open to allow for moisture drainage. Then caulk the sides where the existing frame or brick mold meets the exterior finish. This will prevent drafts and water penetration. When capping the top, bends should be installed so that no water can get behind the capping. Now it's time to clean up the worksite. Clean the glass and frame and remove any stickers. If the customer is there, demonstrate the features and operation of their new replacement window. Be sure to leave any manufacturer's written information for the customer.